The night the drum stopped, the ground was still breathing. If you are over 60 in this village, you do not sleep when the harvest moon rises. You listen because the earth might be calling your name. That was the first thing Ishola learned when he returned to Ajinle village after 12 years away. He had left as a boy with dreams bigger than the forest. He returned as a man with dust on his shoes and his mother's corpse already cold in the hut where she had raised him. They said she died peacefully. They said the land was satisfied. But Ishola noticed something no one else mentioned. There were no elders at the burial. In Ajinle, elders never attended burials. The village smelled of ripe yams and something rotten underneath, like blood washed away by rain but never forgotten. Fields stretched wide and green, impossibly healthy, as if the soil itself was alive and feeding on more than fertilizer. Every harvest season, traders came from far places to marvel at crops that never failed, even in drought. They called it a blessing. The villagers called it payment. Ishola asked questions the first night. That was his mistake. Where is Baba Adigok? He asked quietly as they ate. His uncle, Poleke, froze mid-chew. Even the fire cracked louder, like it was listening. Do not ask about those who have finished their season, Poleke finally said. Eat. But Ishola had grown up elsewhere. Silence did not scare him like it scared them. The next morning, he followed the sound of chanting into the forest. There, hidden between ancient iroko trees, was a clearing with fresh mounds of earth. Not graves. The soil was too neat. Too packed. And from one mound, something moved. A sound came out of it. A muffled, human sound. Ishola ran. That night, he confronted Mama Eralu, the oldest woman in Ajinle and the keeper of its traditions. Her eyes were white with age, but sharp with knowledge. You buried them alive, Ishola said, his voice shaking. I saw it. I heard them. Mama Eralu did not deny it. The land fed us when we were hungry, she replied calmly. So we feed the land when it demands. They are still breathing, Ishola shouted. They are still useful, she corrected. She told him the story his mother had tried to forget. Long ago, when famine nearly wiped Ajinle off the map, the elders made a covenant with the soil. The earth spoke through a spirit older than names. It wanted wisdom, memories, voices that had lived long enough to understand suffering. Not blood spilled in anger, but life slowly returned to the ground. So when an elder reached a certain age, when their hair turned fully white and their dreams began to fade, they were taken during harvest moon. Lowered into a deep pit. Given air holes. Given food for a while. And then forgotten. As long as the elder's voice still whispered underground, the crops would grow. When the whispering stopped, the harvest was complete. Ishola laughed then. A broken, unbelieving laugh. You're telling me this is murder, he said. Mama Eralu leaned closer, her breath smelling of herbs and soil. I am telling you this is survival. The drum started 3 nights later. Low. Slow. Calling. Poleke sat on the floor, trembling. No, he whispered. Not yet. I can still walk. I can still think. Ishola felt his stomach drop. You. He said. You're not that old? Poleke looked at him with wet eyes. The land decides, not us. That was when Ishola understood the real horror. Age was not counted in years. It was counted in usefulness. That night, Ishola tried to help his uncle escape. They barely reached the edge of the forest before the villagers surrounded them, torches lighting their faces from below, turning neighbors into monsters. Mama Eralu stepped forward. Do not make this harder than it must be, she said. Poleke fell to his knees. Ishola, he cried. Please. Tell them I still matter. Ishola grabbed Mama Eralu's arm. You said the land wants elders, he said desperately. Take me instead. I know the world outside. I've seen things. I can feed it stories. The old woman studied him. Then she smiled. The land does not take volunteers, and she said. It takes roots. They dragged Poleke away. The pit was deeper than Ishola imagined. Wooden supports lined the sides. Small holes pierced the soil walls. Thoughtfully made. Carefully cruel. Poleke was lowered in. Uncle, Ishola whispered, tears streaming. I'll come back. I promise. Poleke reached up, his fingers brushing Ishola's. Listen to me, Poleke said, voice shaking but clear. When you hear the ground speak back, run. The earth swallowed him. The chanting grew louder. The soil was poured in slowly, respectfully, like talking in a child. Then the drums stopped. For days after, Ishola heard voices when he walked past the farms. Soft, elderly, whispering advice to the crops. Telling the yams how to swell. Teaching the maize how to stand tall. The harvest was the biggest Ajinle had ever seen. That was when Mama Eralu came to Ishola's hut. The land has noticed you, she said. Ishola backed away. I am young. But you question, she replied. And the land dislikes loose ends. That night, the ground beneath Ishola's feet felt warm. Alive. He ran. He did not stop until the village was far behind him and the whispers faded into memory. Years later, the farms around Ajinle failed. The soil turned hard. The crops rotted. They say the land is angry. They say it misses the sound of wisdom underground. And sometimes, when elders elsewhere die peacefully in their sleep, Ajinle villagers swear they hear the earth laughing because it has learned something new.